Roman Reigns lays the first blow on Edge. Is Edge going to be facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Who is going to come out of Elimination Chamber as Universal Champion? This is the last stop before Elimination Chamber, and we're going to get into everything that happened on SmackDown in just a second. So stay tuned. This is your SmackDown review. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are talking about SmackDown. Last stop before Elimination Chamber. Really good show in some parts, I would say. There was a bit of mismatch with the women's division that we'll get into in just a second. But yeah, Edge was all over this show and determined to kind of show us that he's thinking about who he could possibly choose as his main event opposition come WrestleMania. So we're going to get into everything around that in just a second. If you didn't know, right here at WrestleManiac UK, I talk about everything that is WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time that I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into this SmackDown review. And we're going to talk about the main, the kind of main event segment first. But it did start, obviously, in the opening segment of the show. Edge came out to open the show, and he's told us about how he's still thinking about who he's going to choose. He told us how he thinks that Roman Reigns is insecure, and that's why he wants Roman Reigns to pick him. Or sorry, that Roman Reigns wants to be picked, yeah, because it's just like he needs to kind of be justified in that role. Eventually we did see Roman Reigns come out and take to the ring and tell him, look, you said you're going to be in the main event. I'm the main eventer. Choose me, all of that kind of stuff. And these two were having a serious stare down. Sami Zayn interrupted these guys, and Sami Zayn came down to the ring and saying, look, you're overlooking me. I'm going to win the Elimination Chamber. I'm going to beat Roman Reigns after the Elimination Chamber match at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and it's going to be me in the main event of WrestleMania. And as he was pointing to WrestleMania sign in the stadium and about to finish his sentence, Jey Uso just hit him with a super kick just to shut him up. Which I found quite funny because on the night these two were going to be tag team partners. So yeah, this was a bit of a crazy way to start the show, especially with Sami Zayn getting laid out. We saw Roman Reigns pass the mic and pass the championship over to Paul Heyman, and he walks up to Edge, showing Edge, look, nothing in my hands, whatever. And he whispered something to Edge where we didn't hear what he said. Usually we see these kind of segments happen and the camera picks up, what is being said by these guys. It's not on the mic, but it's on the camera audio. But this was literally some secret that Roman Reigns whispered to Edge. So yeah, we don't know what it was. Roman left the ring, and that was the end of the first segment. But yeah, really good promo. Oh, excuse me, really good promo by Edge and Roman Reigns to start the show. And then we get into the main event. The main event saw Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, and Kevin Owens link up to take on Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and King Corbin. These are obviously everyone's going to be involved in the Elimination Chamber match. So we had some six-man tag action, and this was a really good match. Just loads of fun spots between all these guys. This Elimination Chamber match, more than Raw, it's just gonna be like, I don't know actually, because this is more of like the characters involved in this match are more like technical prowess, whereas the Raw Elimination Chamber is more of a slobber knocker, if you like, between a lot of kind of bigger guys. So yeah, but yeah, this match was really good. Nonetheless, it came to a close when Daniel Bryan, he flipped Sami Zayn from the top rope into like his label lock, which was super impressive. And then Sami Zayn tapped out. So while Daniel Bryan was celebrating, we saw the likes of Baron Corbin kind of come in, and he done an end of days, and then I nearly said Austin. Kevin Owens ran in and stunned Baron Corbin. We saw an exploder suplex by Sami Zayn to Kevin Owens. We saw a European uppercut by Cesaro to Sami Zayn. We saw a super kick from Jey Uso to Cesaro, and then we saw Edge run in and gave a pretty rubbish, if I can say, looking spear to Jey Uso. But then that was followed by the tribal chief himself. He ran into the ring from out of nowhere and gave Edge a thunderous spear, held the Universal Championship over Edge. Yeah, it was really good to see Roman Reigns has laid, the first blow in these guys' confrontation, if you like. Um, he's not waiting around. He wants Edge to pick him. He's goading Edge into picking him. And maybe, straight after Elimination Chamber, we all assume that Roman Reigns is going to retain at Elimination Chamber. So maybe straight after his match, Edge is going to run in, spear Roman Reigns to get his revenge and, take to the mic and pick Roman Reigns as his WrestleMania opponent right there and then. I think that will be a really good and emphatic way of doing it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. But yeah, I think it's obvious we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Edge. And this is probably a nice little tidy way to get to that match. So yeah, that was like the main story coming out of the match. Roman Reigns has laid the first blow on Edge with the spear, and I guess it's now waiting to see how Edge is going to retaliate, if you like. Before we get on to everything else that took place on this show, guys, please remember to smash the like button. It does loads for the channel. I appreciate it every time you guys do. So please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. We had, as a first piece of action on the show, Apollo Crews versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Obviously, Apollo Crews kind of costed Shinsuke Nakamura last week in their bouts. No, Apollo Crews costed Shinsuke Nakamura in his match with Big E last week for the Intercontinental Championship. So, yeah, he was kind of, I guess, Shinsuke wanted some revenge. This wasn't, a number one contenders match or anything, but obviously would have had implications depending on the winner. Really fun match. We had Big E on commentary, ringside, sitting on his sofa, getting a foot massage or something like that. I don't know. In the end, we saw Shinsuke Nakamura come away with a win, and then we saw Apollo Crews attack Shinsuke Nakamura after the match. Apollo Crews, I guess, heel turn confirmed. I don't mind it. Gives him a bit of edge, a bit of kind of a different angle to him. But Big E came to the rescue at ringside and was basically telling Apollo Crews, "Don't attack him. Like, you've lost the match. Walk away. Walk away." Put the stairs down because he was carrying the stairs, ready to hit Nakamura. Big E thought, the message had got through to Apollo Crews. He turned around to go and help Shinsuke Nakamura. Apollo Crews picked up the stairs and rammed it into the back of Big E, which was pretty nasty. We saw Big E eventually, I think he got in the ring because Apollo Crews was still fighting him. He got rolled outside the ring, tried to get away. Apollo Crews had the stairs on him inside the ring. The referee was telling him to drop it. Apollo Crews lifted the stairs and dropped them over the top rope, where Big E was like crawling to safety on the floor. So they kind of made it look like Apollo Crews had dropped the stairs right on top of Big E. Really good kind of framing in that sense. But yeah, Apollo Crews looking like a real kind of contender in this now, despite losing on the night. He's definitely building up nicely. I know he was going to be on Talking Smack, so it'll be interesting to see what Paul Heyman had to say to him. But yeah, I don't know if anyone can see Big E taking this title from Apollo Crews taking the title from Big E in the near future. You'll put your comments down below. But yeah, we can discuss that because Apollo is looking decent. He's looking somewhat good, We had a segment with and of course as Big E was being rolled out of the arena, Seth Rollins' music hit and Seth Rollins came out. And Seth Rollins was saying how Big E was betrayed by his friends, same way he was betrayed by all of his so-called friends last week when they all walked out on him upon his return. And this was a bit rambly, to be honest. Obviously, he went at Cesaro and said that, Cesaro, you waited behind to basically make fun of me and make fun of my return, and that's why I had to attack you. I wasn't into it. I wasn't into it. Since he returned last week, this hasn't been the return I expected of Seth Rollins. Because it's an extension of his past character with no real his Messiah character with no real like dimension on what's different or anything like that. Um, yeah, it's just not for me. If I'm completely honest, I'm just not really digging it. Um, but yeah, we hope it improves. He's clearly going after Cesaro after Elimination Chamber. They'll probably get into a feud. And I do think that will probably lead to Daniel Bryan getting involved in Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Um, but yeah, this whole stuff of Seth Rollins coming back and these extravagant suits he's wearing as well, I'm not really into it too tough. Next up on the show, we had the Riott Squad versus Natalya and Tamina. The Riott Squad never really got going here. This was a really kind of strong showcase for Tamina, if anybody. She was squashing Ruby Riott. She was squashing Liv Morgan. We did see once Riott Squad kind of got into a bit of an ascendancy. Billie Kay came out, and Billie Kay was wearing a merch shirt, a Tamina merch shirt. So she's clearly not caring for Riott Squad anymore. And in the end, the Riott Squad got put away by Tamina. Tamina got the win for her and Natalya, and Billie Kay went to celebrate with Tamina and Natalya. They weren't having it. We saw Tamina super kick Billie Kay. So yeah, Billie Kay is still trying to kind of find her position on SmackDown with whoever she can link herself up with. It's not gonna be Tamina and Natalya. Right. Moving on to this next I don't know what to call this. It was a segment of Ding Dong Hello, Bailey's little talk show. She was having Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax as guests, and Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax came and they were like, "Aren't you a bit mad at us that we took the tag titles from you and Sasha?" Bailey was like, "No, I wanted to be rid of Sasha anyway, so it's all fine," etc., etc. And they went on to insult Bianca Belair. They went on to insult Sasha a bit more, and then you saw I was gonna say we saw Carmella Sommelier come out, and Reginald came out, and he was basically running to the defense of Sasha Banks. I don't know what this love for Sasha Banks he has is all about, but yeah, he came out and he said, "Look, if Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks linked up against yourselves, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, you would lose those tag titles." So he's doing a bit of instigating here, but trying to get into Sasha's good books maybe. But then Sasha Banks comes out and she told Reginald to never speak for her ever again. So Sasha Banks went on to kind of defend her case and say that, Bianca Belair should choose me for the WrestleMania match, etc., etc. Bianca Belair then comes out, and Bianca Belair is also saying that, you're not the boss. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not no one's sidekick, etc., etc. And Reginald gets it in his mind somewhere to challenge Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Bailey, alongside him being alongside Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, to a tag match, a 6-person tag match. So I guess the battle lines were drawn, and these guys all got into it in terms of having a 6-person tag match. I don't know why Reginald thinks he can enter the women's division like this, and I don't know where Carmella is in all of this. We saw a little segment backstage with him and Carmella afterwards, but yeah, this was a bit weird. Regular kind of tag match, if you like, until Reginald got tagged in by Sasha Banks. Of course, he's not going to strike any woman. He was in there with Nia Jax, and a lot of times it was just Nia Jax showing her power, her dominance over Reginald. Until one part where Nia Jax picked up Reginald, who tried to give her some type of crossbody kind of move. So she was holding him. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair entered the ring and both drop kicked Reginald on his back onto Nia Jax. Nia Jax was just laid there as Reginald kind of covered her for the 3 counts, and then she kind of popped up afterwards. So the move was obviously not devastating enough to knock her out. So why did this even reach a 3 count? I just thought it wasn't really well done or anything. It was very odd. Um, and yeah, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, and Reginald got the win. And then we saw backstage, like I say, Reginald brought a glass of wine over to Carmella. Carmella was like, "Where have you been?" He was like, "Oh, I was just waiting for the wine to be at perfect room temperature for you." She basically told him, "Cut the crap. You think I didn't see you out there wrestling and stuff?" She was asking him, what is this all about? And went on to say, "Look, I just hope this ends how it should end, etc." I guess maybe bringing Sasha Banks' head to her on a platter sort of thing. Um, she went on to taste the wine that he brought her, spat it out, threw the wine on him and said, "Go and bring me something else." So yeah, kind of odd segment. But then what we have got from this is a women's tag match, championship match, in fact, happening at Elimination Chamber. It's going to be Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair challenging Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the women's tag team championships. Now, what happened to Naomi and Lana, who are the #1 contenders, and also Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, probably are #2 contenders, if anything. So yeah, this is a bit of a, we complain about when AEW do stuff like this, so you got to complain when SmackDown do it too. So yeah, that's gonna be a thing. I think that Shayna and Nia Jax probably retain, and this starts leading to the demise of the pleasantries between Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, and we can finally get, Bianca Belair making her decision that she wants Sasha Banks's SmackDown Women's Championship, and she wants Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. Um, Last but not least on the show, we had a tag match between Rey Mysterio tagging with his son Dominic Mysterio versus the Alpha Academy guys, Chad Gable and Otis. Now, the Dirty Dogs were on commentary, Ziggler and Rude. Didn't really get involved. They were just putting themselves over as fighting champions. But this match was a bit odd in the way it ended. We were seeing a regular tag match happen, and then we saw Otis do a splash onto Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was basically crushed and winded and giving all, selling it. Chad Gable got in the ring, and I think this is where the confusion happened. Chad Gable got in the ring, and the referee was telling him to leave the ring, I believe, because he was kind of encouraging this aggression and didn't get out of the ring by like the certain referees count. The referee threw out the match. I think that's what they were trying to play out. Otis again gave Rey Mysterio another splash. Otis then went up to like the middle rope and gave Rey Mysterio a splash from the middle rope. That one looked painful. So Otis is now kind of developing a bit of a heel persona, a bit of a heel character. We've seen Chad Gable kind of heal it up a bit in the past. Yeah, this could be interesting. This could be pretty interesting, but I just think the whole throwing the match out because of Chad Gable was in the ring was just a bit messy. Didn't really come together much. But yeah, that was the ending of that match, I guess, by disqualification. And then, we spoke about the 6-man tag that happened in the main event. So, guys, that was SmackDown, and that was my SmackDown review. I hope you enjoyed it. Elimination Chamber on Sunday. Today, I'm going to be on the Rated R for Wrestling channel with Anthony. We're going to be doing our Elimination Chamber predictions. So you want to tune in for that to hear who I think is going to be winning these matches. I need to give it some thought because it's all a bit crazy right now. But yeah, I'm expecting whatever happens is Roman Reigns is going to walk out of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view still the Universal Champion. Before he completely leaves the arena, Edge is going to have hit him with a spear, and Edge will declare Roman Reigns versus Edge in the main event of WrestleMania 37 for the Universal Championship. That is my one bold prediction that I am sure is going to happen. But guys, it's been great being here with you. Please remember to hit the thumbs up button, give us a like on your way out. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you